This is Jeff at Corner Creek Woodworking. Today I'm going to show you how to build a topless trellis. No top. What's up guys? Today we're going to build a 60-inch topless trellis. Super simple, a lot of math, really fun to build. A lot of angles that you have to pay attention to. I've got my plans. I'm not going to sell these. I'm just going to be giving out all of the measurements and everything as I'm working my way through this video. So let's get started. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take 3 treated 2x4x8s. Right, we're going to rip those down into 1.5 wide strips. Do the whole thing. So the way I like to do that is I usually cut it at about 3¼ inches to take the factory edge off, flip it over, and then do my 2 1.5 off of that. Now while you're watching this incredibly boring shot of me ripping a 2x4 and looking at the camera, I'm just going to give you the measurements. The top ring, the short to the short, is 15.5 inches. The longer pieces are 18.5 inches. The bottom ring is 26 short to short and 29. The middle ring will be cut to fit. Alright, so then I'm going to cut the legs. Okay, the legs I'm going to cut at a 10 degree on 2 sides. So I took my compound miter saw and I laid it in 10 degrees and turned it in 10 degrees. I cut it, slid it down to a 60-inch, cut it again without turning it. And that way it'll lay properly at an angle. Because what we're trying to do is get it to go from big to small on all 4 axes. So then I'm going to cut the rings. Okay, so, and I'll show you as I cut these what I'm going to do. Each ring is going to be 2 shorter and 2 longer. Okay, they're essentially going to be the same length all the way around, pretty close. But I'm going to do a 10 degree rip along the length of all of them, and then my shorter ones I'm going to do a 10 degree cut in to match that, so that the longer pieces will go onto the top of it. It'll make more sense in just a minute. So let me get started cutting some of these. It seems like an awful lot of information. Does this guy even know what he's talking about?
There you go.
Listen to my wife being all supportive and stuff. Isn't she great? Okay, so what I've done is each of the inside pieces of the rings, I cut at a 10-degree angle here. And now we're going to go to the table saw and cut a 10-degree angle this way. what this will allow us to do, it's actually going to be this way. What this will allow us to do is, while the uprights are running at an angle of 10 degrees each way, this 10 degree along with this 10 degree will allow this to be level. Always, always, always use one of these guys. That way your cuts would always be right. I'll leave a link to one of these in the description. It's you just have to have one of these if you're going to do very much. I should have had all of these laid out so you guys would think I'm great, but that's just not how I roll. I'll figure stuff out as I go. Alright. Now we have a box. Okay. Everything is cut at 10 degrees. The bottom is more narrow than the top, because your legs have a 10 degree arch. As you can see here, your long end is your narrow end, and that fits in here. Now, I'm going to put the top piece and the bottom piece together, but I'm going to wait on the middle piece, and you'll see why. So, okay, now, this can get a little tricky if you're not paying attention. The way this is set is it goes this way, it goes that way, and both 10 degree. So what we need to do is we need to get all four of our legs here. We need to find the longest point of each one, and we need to measure up 15 inches, 30 inches, and 45. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this here, and let's get to go this way, and put this right here. I'll put my 15-inch mark at the bottom. Make sure that when you do this, you have the longest piece turned out to the outside corner. Yeah, I just almost messed up. If I had put that in there, then it would be jacked up on the bottom and the top. But let me put this in. I'm gonna attach the top piece, and then I'll go back to showing you what I'm doing. Okay, I've kind of got this set up. I've got my marks at the bottom. I've got the top. I've got the bottom. I'm not going to do the middle until it's all put together. That way I can cut it fit exact. So, one thing that is very important, and you'll understand why in a minute. When you put your first screws in, only put them in the short piece, okay? Don't put them in the long piece yet, okay? We'll do that in a minute, and it'll make more sense when I explain to you why. So what we're gonna do, Okay, so that's one. I'm gonna take my next board. I'm gonna mark it exactly the same. Alright, I'm gonna put the rest of these legs on, then I'll pick back up with you. I'll save you from the board and stuff. Alright, so. Now, without a top, most of these have a top with a little perch on it and a little decorative piece on the top. Those are a lot more simple because you don't have to worry about this racking. With the way this is without the top, you have to find some other opposing geometry, right? So now, let's talk about why I wanted to skip putting the screws on the long ends. Because what that does is allows you to get this nice and flat. And there's enough opposing geometry once you put these screws on the long pieces, along with our runners that's going to be here, make this thing nice and firm. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through and add a few screws. Okay, so now we're going to put our middle pieces in. And I always wait to put the middle pieces in until I get the other two in, because they're never going to work right. This is not fine furniture by any stretch of the imagination. This is just treated lumber that, particularly in my area, is pretty terrible. So I'm going to put the two short pieces in. I'll mark them, cut them to length, put them in, put the longer pieces up. I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, so that's it. Next, I'm gonna put the runners in. So now what I've done is I've taken a 1x4x8 treated, cut it 47 inches long with a point at each end. I measured up from the bottom 8 inches. I found the center of each runner on the bottom only. Now, that, get it kind of straight.
If this is helping you guys or you're getting value from this, hit that like button or subscribe to see what I've got coming up next.
It does not have to be perfect, and I'm kind of short. I'm only 5'9", so I typically just put the bottom two in, set it to the floor, and do the top. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy math. I enjoy the angles and enjoy figuring all this out. If you don't, I figured it out for you. If you do, then you will enjoy this build. It's really simple. The ones that everybody else does, that go all the way up with the top and everything, it's a lot more simple, and all of this is not necessary, but I enjoy this. The lady that I'm building these for didn't want the top. She wanted them this height. So this is kind of why we did this. So thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.